Today we're going through the Barbarian Hero Spotlight for Heroes Vs Hordes. I picked him up on a lucky draw a couple months ago. I've spent $100 for him in order to complete the draw that day. And looking back on it, it's actually my biggest regret in the game. He is a very good character, but his power status has come down, I think, over the last year or so. And there are a bunch of other characters that you can just get from adventures that will be able to carry you through late game. And having not done him before, I wasn't really sure. I thought I needed to get him, and you don't. That being said, he's still an excellent hero. Hey everyone, this is Coles. I'm a high-level Heroes vs Hordes player, and previously was a high-level TFT Grandmaster. I'll walk you through the Barbarian today. He's one of the most sought-after heroes in the game. He's been known for a long time to be one of the better heroes for clearing late-game content. Quickly looking at his skills, the Barbarian has 3 skills. Unleash Fury, which is every X number of hits. His main weapon will produce 6 hits with Rage. He's got Master of Rage, which increases his area by 22%, as well as armor and movement speed. And then when he has his ultimate up, he goes Berserk, which zooms out and lets you see more of the map, increases his size, attack speed, and movement. So basically what happens is every 25 to 30 hits, he applies Rage to his next 6, which does a whole bunch of damage. And then his Rage also gives him armor and move speed. The big thing is just getting Rage, so that's the thing you get at the end of a level typically, and he gets it mid-level every 20-30 hits or so with his main weapon. That's Barbarian in a nutshell. So to give you a quick rundown on his build, I go with full Rogue gear and Ranger boots. However, I have one Mythic Ranger ring, and so I've been using that instead just because it has increased damage over the base ring. And I still get the Rogue set bonus. In terms of jewels, you want to optimize for cooldown. You want to get the cooldown to 60%. I finally hit that maybe a couple weeks ago. You want to optimize your jewels to hit the cooldown max of 60 because you get an additional 30 from the cooldown tome in game. And once you've maxed the cooldown, so you can see my first set of jewels here kind of maxes my cooldown. I have a pretty solid projectile jewel and for both physical and magical projectiles, so I add those, and then I just max out area of effect. As I continue to level up my cooldown jewels, I'll substitute more of those for area of effect. Area of effect is kind of the priority after cooldown, and the most important jewels you'll always run are ultimate charge, duration, and invulnerability. Those are just kind of standard jewels for every build. I'm going to be running Barbarian on 370 hard mode, so this is about as hard as the game gets. And my priority here, honestly, at this point, I'm a little too strong and it doesn't totally matter. However, you want to build a typical full damage build for Barbarian. So that means you want fire orbs, bombs, lightning, and then crossbow. That's your typical damage build, so I'm going to build that for this run. However, if you are having trouble progressing, like I was doing maybe 2-3 months ago when I was finishing up hard mode content, or if you're just trying to progress kind of further than your gear would allow, you can substitute out both lightning and crossbow for boomerang and ice wand. Boomerang and ice wand, you want to get an evolved boomerang and then just the standard ice wand, and that combination of disruption lets you progress farther than you typically would with this typical standard damage build. I'm going for my tomes. It's going to be cooldown, duplicator, critical strike, area of effect, and damage. So this is just a very typical damage build. Again, when I was running this and actually progressing through hard mode at this point, I would have had to run double disruption, which would have been ice wand and evolved boomerang. And then you take bombs and fire orbs. The Barbarian scales very well into late game because of Rage. And so you can see here, whenever his weapons go from being white to being red, is when he's got his Rage applied. And Rage does a ton more damage. So right there, you see it. In these later levels, when the elites spawn, they spawn in packs of 4, and you need all of that extra damage just to kind of clear them without crashing into them. And it's also 2 elites spawn there. You can see all the damage that he does in both his ultimate form and with Rage applied. He's just a beast. I actually just recently upgraded my weapon to Wolf Teeth, so actually we'll see what this looks like. I haven't used it yet. Barbarian is not my main at this point. You can't really do nightmare content with him past a certain level. There are better options in Arena and in Hero Clash. So again, that's kind of why I regret buying him, is that he's really good for clearing out normal and hard mode content, but for all the kind of the specialty stuff you're doing endgame, he's actually not that helpful. If I could do it again, I ended up getting Clockwork Mage in a grind event. She is probably the best late game champion, jack of all trades. She can clear out normal, hard mode. She can do some of nightmare mode, and then she can dominate in arena and dominates in Hero Clash. And so she is the best single all-around champion. So if you're gonna spend money and not wait for to get lucky for a grind event, or just hopefully pull her out of a lucky draw, she's one I'd actually pay for. So you can see I'm doing just a ton of damage with Barbarian. It doesn't at this point really kind of matter what I'm doing, what I'm choosing. So I'm doing the optimal damage build, and he'll just run through everything. You can see there its ultimate lets you expand out, which is actually really helpful there are certain events where you need to like find items on the map by running around like this. Basically you like run, technically you're supposed to run east-west or west-east until you find like power-ups or different items that spawn on the ground. He's really good for that because he zooms out like this, and you can end up seeing more of the map and like finding those like things you need to pick up. And that's one little perk of a barbarian. He is very good for the events where you need to like find items in the map by scrolling through the map really quickly. He gets additional movement speed from his ultimate and from his skills, and so you combine that with maybe like picking up the boomerang movement speed, and you can just do flies through levels and can pick up probably like 10% more of the event items per level. So you can see like right now I have like 4 power-ups going just from like running around. And again, I'm way too strong for this content, and so this isn't typical. Back when I was actually clearing it out, you'd have to take small steps to progress through. When you're trying to clear out late game content or just trying to progress in general, the best thing you want to be able to do is to solely scroll through a map looking for power-ups so that you have a power-up available for when the elites spawn. All right, now let's see if I put on visibility mode, what it looks like. This is kind of the fun part, and you can see why I play with visibility mode on. If I take it off, it just goes nuts. I can't even see, so there's supposed to be wolves coming out of his attack every couple of times here. I don't know, see the wolves coming out, unless it's like that. It's probably those red things, but he's not supposed to be breathing fire. So I imagine it's that red that's coming out of he's just doing a ton of damage, and he's way overpowered for this. In terms of getting shards, both for his weapon, so weapon tokens, I guess, that I just waited over the course of playing for what is now like 7 months. He came up in rotation, so I was able to get up to level the 3 stars weapon, and then I put in 2,000 and that got me up to 4-starring it. I don't have very many things at 5-star. You can see this is just in lunacy. So when you have late game characters, you need to play in visibility mode, because if you're just playing in regular mode, you can see nothing. I don't even have, can I turn on, I'll show damage numbers, and then you can kind of get a sense of like what's going on here. It's just, you can't focus. If you actually like need to evade, so I think the elites are going to come out right now, right? Like how can you, if I have this on, how do I evade an elite? Like I think I just killed one, but it's impossible. So you need to play kind of the later game with visibility mode enabled, just to make sure you can like see through all the nuts. Yeah, so that's Barbarian in a nutshell. I will end up probably just fast forwarding the rest of this because it's not very interesting. You're just going to watch me like run around in circles. Barbarian is a very good champion for clearing endgame content. He's no longer the S+ tier I think that he used to be. He's still A tier. He's great for normal mode and hard mode. He cannot really do much in Nightmare, Hero Clash, or in Arena. He is helpful for clearing out faction wars, but I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I am not as hot on the Barbarian as many of the forums and people in the game used to say he is. I think he's fallen off tremendously and doesn't allow you to access as much late game content as he previously did. All right, again, my name is Coles. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe and follow along as I produce more of this Heroes vs Hordes content, and let me know if there's anything you want me to do in the future in the comments. Thanks a lot.